Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box at my new temporary time for the time being, at least until December, probably. I'm working a weird shift, so I got to either record in the morning or wait late at night. I'm trying to decide which is better. So I'm here with Frederic Guimont. How you doing, Frederic? Your mic is off.
Here we go. Mic's on now. Thank you very much for having me back, John.
Yeah,
It's
you,
good to be
you were.
here.
It was like a month ago, right?
Something
That,
like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
like that. So
Came on, talked about Bitcoin a little bit and
yeah,
about
I forget where you were. I saw you on somebody else's channel talking about Bitcoin,
yeah,
and
I've been doing a lot of shows this week, and I mean the topic comes up because it's a big theme of the comic book, obviously. And I'm also doing something unique is that I'm crowdfunding on top of fund my comic, like most people. I'm also doing a Bitcoin crowdfunding on the side as well. So that's kind of an experiment. It's kind of new, and it's proving to be interesting as well.
oh, cool. Yeah, I brought that up. So let's just talk for a little bit about, you know, so I saw you, I forget whose channel you were on, and you were talking about Bitcoin. And like everybody, when anybody talks about Bitcoin, everybody just stares like a deer in the headlights.
Yeah. A lot of people want to switch the topic real quick. They think it's a scam. That there's a lot of preconceived ideas about it, which is unfortunate. It was kind of easier to talk about it when it was new and no one knew what it was. Now people kind of like have made up their minds from what seen in the media on the news and things like that. But I, I'm not here to preach. Regardless,
Right, right.
it's something I've been interested in, and I wanted to get into the headspace of a Bitcoiner for the comic book. It's a theme, and it's a belief in the character, but it's not a preachy book. It's not a book to try to sell you anything either.
Right. I mean, obviously I didn't read the comic yet, but it's about Bitcoin in the way Iron Man Tony Stark is about venture capitalism.
Exactly right. It's about corporations the way Batman is about
Right.
you know.
Just a quick catch up for people watching. So me and you talked about Bitcoin. The reason why I invited you on is comic book guy and a Bitcoin guy. And
Yeah,
I had a friend that talked me into buying Bitcoin back when Bitcoin was only like $6,000. So I took a tax return and I threw it all in there, and then I just left it. It blew up. It did really really well. So and then I took out most of it to fix up my house and basement. When I moved in, this house was like falling apart. And then my friend got mad at me. How could you do that? I said, well, I
yeah,
can't live in a Bitcoin, and now I can live in a nice house.
yeah,
You know, and I'm kind of mad because it only went up.
yeah.
So I every week in my paycheck, I take $100 out and I put it in Bitcoin.
Yeah,
So it's
it goes up because it's hard money, but it's a 4-year cycle. Like it goes up 3 years and it goes down 1 year. So you always have to keep that in mind.
right. Sorry, I'm just finishing my lunch, but I've moved past the scam stage. It's been around long enough that like NFTs kind of came and went.
Yeah,
And in
those
my
are
mind,
scams. Those are clearly scams.
right, in my mind, NFTs and Bitcoin were the same thing for a little bit, and then I saw that NFTs just went away. But Bitcoin seems to be here to stay. Like it's becoming a
Yeah,
more and more acceptable. I remember when Discover Card first came out, people like it's a scam. It didn't, and now Bitcoin. Like I've purchased things with Bitcoin.
oh yeah, me too. Me too a lot. Like I could buy coffee nearby with Bitcoin. I know in the west side of Canada, there's an area of uh, there's a part of their city that's all the shops are starting to adopt it. So there's a
Oh
region
wow!
you can start living off Bitcoin there. When you go to a Bitcoin conference as well, everybody pays in Bitcoin. Everyone's like all elated, uh, settling their debts in Bitcoin. You go out drinking with your buddies, Bitcoiners. One will pay the tab with a credit card, and everyone pays back with Bitcoin. And it's really a superior payment system when you start to understand it and get into it.
I mean, you explained it. My friends explained it. I still don't understand it. But you know what? I also don't understand the internal combustion engine. But I drive my car, and you know what I mean. And I recognize that the car is here to stay, and it works
Yeah,
superior to the horse.
most people don't understand how dollars work either. Like
Right.
you just
You know what's funny? I'm glad you said that because I've been diving into a rabbit hole about just fiat currency the past 6 months. So Bitcoin Bitcoin isn't as crazy as it sounds once you understand real, quote unquote, real money either. You know.
Yeah.
Have you ever read The Killing Floor by the I can't remember the but it's the first Reacher novel.
No, I have not.
I bet you would be interested in it. It's all about Reacher's investigating his brother's death, and his brother worked for the Secret Service, and his brother worked as a person who investigated counterfeits overseas. And they left it all out of the TV series. I wonder why, about how paper money, government money, is based on an illusion, and we have to maintain an illusion, otherwise.
Yeah, ever since
if we
1971.
don't believe it has value, it has no value.
Yeah. I mean, the Fed came into the United States in 1913. That's when they took over the money, controlling the money. But even back then, it was redeemable in gold. I think it was like, what, 1933 or something like that, that the government like forced everyone to give back their gold. And you had to sell your gold like at a loss almost, because, when the government forces you to sell something, the price isn't up, it's really down.
Right.
And
that was FDR. Everybody, the progressive hero, FDR, he forced people at gunpoint to turn in their private property.
Yeah. And the nail in the coffin was Nixon in 71. He said, we're temporarily going to go off the gold standard, the gold-backed dollar, and we're just going to go paper money from then on. And when you have paper money, it's a one-way street. You're just going to lose value over time. And now a dollar is worth, pennies of what it used to be worth.
And we'll talk about your comic in a couple of seconds. Just that you're the only person I can talk to about this kind of stuff. And I also want to say hello to Marcus, my moderator. Marcus and I working together. I want to say hello to Dave Brink at Genuine Comics.
Hey, Dave. How you doing, man?
Great comics over there.
Yeah, I had him on my show as well, and we talked about it.
You've been on Dave's? Oh, good.
No, the other way around. Dave has been on my show.
Okay.
I've got a small show on Tuesday.
Dave is the gold. I love Dave's comics. I hope to be as happy as
I bought the art book of Perfect 10. I'm like waiting for it. It's going to come like any day now.
Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Cushion. Yeah. I don't even want to get into what's going on in the world. I managed to be in a good mood right now, so I appreciate the sentiment. Thank you. Yeah. Things I've been getting messages all day from my crazy conspiracy friends. You know what I mean? Oh man. Talk about rabbit holes. But as we talk about, I told you last time we talked that I was an electrician in the Federal Reserve for a while, right?
Yes, you did mention that. Yeah, I forgot about that. That's crazy.
We walked in, and Federal Reserve police officers with rifles, semi-automatic rifles, and we had to go through metal detectors, which is funny because I'm carrying a tool bag, and so we, after a while they get to know you, you know what I mean? But at first, like they go through all your tool bags and everything like that. And you're scared, these guys with guns, you know what I mean? And you go to the Federal Reserve. After about 4 months, we started to get friendly with these guards, and they started telling me that they work for a private bank. They're not government officials. They don't have any government authority. They are bank guards.
Yeah. The Federal Reserve, the name is, it's kind of devious because it's not federal.
Right.
That's just the name of it. Like if I called myself President Frederick, it doesn't make me president, right? But people don't think you can get away with that, so they have an implicit trust in authority. They believe that. So that's the joke everyone says. Well, it's not really a joke, but they say the Federal Reserve, it's not federal, and it doesn't have any reserves. That's
right. I was literally there where these guys were telling me that their pension comes from the New York City Police Department. Their benefits come from, I'm like, so you're New York City Police, but you're not New York City Police, but you work for the Federal Reserve, but it's not federal. The whole thing was free. So I was like, you guys are private guards. I said, what authority do you have to look through my tool bag? I said, because you're not police, and their badges are different. And the guy just says this, and he pointed to his gun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm at work. I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? But like that was the beginning of me thinking, what is going on with? And then I read that novel.
Well, there's a saying: if you want to steal from a bank, you get a gun. If you want to steal from everyone, you get a bank.
Yeah. So there you go. So anyway, let's talk about your comp. I've been seeing you. I've been working this late shift, so I come home at midnight, or I'm in my car driving, and I see who's streaming, and I've been seeing your face all over the place, which is good. That's what you got to do to promote your comics. How's it working out for you? How's everything?
Pretty good. So I started out with a really small goal. Like I've saw a lot of newcomers, they start with the $500 goal. So that was nice. I started on the Comics Gate Commandos. I'm a co-host there on the Wednesday show. Now it's moving around, but so we started on Saturday, got 7 backers, got made fun of, like, oh, you can't raise money, can't, and but like then Ethan saw that and was like, well, let me bring him on my show and see if we can help him raise some. And even before I got on his show, I had reached the $500 mark, and now we're almost at 900. So the next backer is going to take us over 900 on Fund My Comic, and I've got like $370 worth raised in Bitcoin. So if you add both of them, I'm already past 1,000. And at 1,000, I had like a stretch goal of adding a collectible trading card to every
cool.
order.
So this is what's the name of this site?
This is called Geyser.fund. So these are the gentlemen who have built a Bitcoin crowdfunder. So I'm the only comic book on there, but it's a lot of Bitcoin projects. Some charities, some books, some various types of projects, education and stuff like that. And I wanted to give this a try because, first of all, because it exists, it's very relevant to the theme of the book, and a lot of my the local Bitcoin meetups have shown support for the comic book. So I wanted to give them a chance to be able to support it.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
In
it
Bitcoin.
Makes sense in the context of the comic, right? Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. Everything about the project is kind of like even the colorist. I found him. He's a Bitcoiner from Ireland. Ross Campbell, very talented individual, colorist. I found him working on for Blue Shack Comics. Very good color work on there. And I thought, and I saw that he was, in his bio, it said Node Runner. A Node Runner is someone who runs the Bitcoin program, validating the transaction. So it's like, oh, you're a Bitcoiner. You're going to totally get this. Are you available? And he said, depends on the project, naturally. So I told him a little bit about it, show him some visuals, and he was on board.
I had a program that my computer was a Bitcoin miner, but it's just a home computer, so it just I think I made a 100th of a tenth of a penny. You know what I mean? But
you can't mine with ordinary computers nowadays. You need dedicated hardware.
Right. But this was like 10 years ago, back, I guess it was Wild West or whatever. But
exactly. In the early days, you could. Like in the early days, you could plug in your computer, download the Bitcoin program, and just get it running, and you'd get a block once in a while. And back then, a block would give you 50 Bitcoin in the first 4 years. So it was worthless. You got 50 some things that are worth nothing, but if you held on to them, and nobody knew, like people didn't know it was going to be worth this much. I mean, Satoshi was famously quoted as saying, "Oh, thank you, Dave. Appreciate that, man.
Yeah, we got your backer. Nice.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. So
well, you get 2. I'm gonna back 2. I usually wait until you're on my channel, then I like to back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes total sense. So you could mine back. I was talking to somebody who was working with the Silk Road, and like it was 88 cents when he got it, but it was so volatile during the day, like it would go up and down 50%, things like that. So what they did is, as soon as they were done with their transactions, they got rid of it as quick as possible because they were allergic to the volatility, right? That's the main criticism. Of course, nowadays, last months, it's barely been any volatility. It's really settled down now.
Right. Yeah. I could understand people being nervous at first. It's normal, especially people looking for like retirement pension funds, stuff like that. But it's been going on now for almost 20 years. If it was a scam, it would have run its
16.
course.
16.
Oh, 6. Yeah. Well, that's almost 20. Yeah. But you know what I mean? If it was a scam, it would have been over by now. This isn't a hot to a coin. That girl, you know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Everyone's looking for the next Bitcoin because people get dollar signs in their eyes and they don't understand. This is about security. It's about freedom money as well, because no one controls it. It's like a peer-to-peer system. So it kind of works peer-to-peer, the same way that you could transfer files peer-to-peer. Satoshi solved what's called the Byzantine generals problem, which is how to find a way to validate. Because if you're talking electronic money, right, it's like if I have a PDF of $1, I could just make as many copies as I want. So what's stopping me from sending you the $1 and sending another friend $1 and keeping the $1 myself, because I'm just making copies, right? So what Satoshi solved was how to secure that transfer and have a digital proof that it has been transferred, and you cannot copy the same dollar or Bitcoin.
You see, that makes sense intellectually, but if you explain more than that,
Yeah.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, it's you have to
Gru
do
the
some
Wanderer
research.
comic book that explains how banking works, and I recommend I'll find out the exact number of Gru the Wanderer, how fractional banking works.
Really?
Yeah, and
Sergio Aragones, right?
Yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with Sergio Aragones, but it's basically,
I grew up reading Mad Magazine, so
yeah,
I saw his
Gru walks into a town, and the banker asks him a question, and Gru just answers it, but he doesn't understand. He just says something to like, yes. So the banker uses that as proof, and then he goes in and he gets a loan, and then another guy gets a loan, and then when it's all time to collect the money from Gru's like, what do you like? He's already moved on. He doesn't even remember and the whole system collapses because it was based on an illusion that they believed that you had the money, and you believed that he believed it. And then once it came time to prove the money, everybody realized.
Yeah, it's when you look into it, what we think is a good system, a trustworthy system, and when you look into it, none of it makes sense. And if your buddy was trying to sell you the banking system and explain it to you, you'd go like, that's a total scam. The bank is when the bank receives your dollars, first of all, every dollar doesn't represent value, it represents debt. So all the dollars in the world, if you gave them back to the bank that created it to pay the debt, you wouldn't have any dollars left to pay the interest, because they're charging interest on top of what they're printing. So it's a total scam right off the bat. And when you put your dollars in the bank, they're allowed to lend it, I think, 8 times. And so 8 times over. So they lend it to the first person and 7 other people. And the 7 other people, the dollars don't really exist. But because people trust the money in the bank, they don't take it out of the bank. It doesn't collapse because everyone says, yeah, my dollars are there. They don't realize that them and 7 other people have the same dollars.
Right.
It's like
that's exactly what this comic book was explaining.
Yeah, it's like you and your friends thinking, oh, well, I got my girlfriend at home, but all you guys have the same girlfriend. You're just seeing her at different times. It's a big scam.
Have you ever? I forget who the crazy theoretical physicist is, but one of his theories is that there's only 1 electron in the entire universe, but it travels so fast it's back in time, so that it appears to be everywhere else. So like the shared electron theory. It sounds, and we laugh at that guy, and it's the same thing.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one last Bitcoin story, then we'll go on to your comic in depth.
Sounds good.
The guy who talked me into buying Bitcoin, he has a buddy that he's a shady guy to begin with, but he got injured. He got hit by a bus, and he took $30,000 from the settlement, and this was like 2008 or something like that, and he put it all into Bitcoin, and everybody told him not to.
It was later than that because Bitcoin started in January 2009.
Okay, so I guess it was 2009, and but the thing is, he also had like another $100,000 from the settlement, so like, and it was found money kind of thing. So he's just like, I think that, and he was a computer guy. This guy hasn't worked a day since. He's living off that initial 30 grand, and he says it's like he's on I forget the name of the program, but he's only allowed to withdraw $50,000 a week. You know what I mean? From that initial 30, and it couldn't have happened to a worser guy.
Yeah,
he's such a shady person.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll talk. So your guy is not a computer expert. Your character, like I said,
well, he is a computer expert,
right? But the comic book is not about the nature of Bitcoin.
No, exactly. Like you say, like Tony Stark is not about a company. It's not about his company. It's not about building robots. It's about a superhero. It's about a guy who has a moral compass. He gets into trouble because he was poking fun at the security holes for the bank system, and they send the cops towards him, and he was able to save his Bitcoin in his head. So one of the ways that Bitcoin is saved is kind of like a password. You have 12 words. And if you can memorize those 12 words, you can come back and go to a computer and get access to your Bitcoin again with those 12 words. So he gets sent to jail. He learns the tricks and trades of the criminals, but he keeps his moral compass. And when he comes out, he's got a lot of financial backing, and he's motivated to make a change in the world because he's tired of seeing everybody kind of like just go along with the scam, go along with the program when he sees, the government of Canada kind of being totally corrupted. And he's like, I'm tired of just going along with the criminals. And he decides to fight back, decides to become a vigilante. And, he goes on the dark web, orders parts. He's a DIY guy. So he builds his own drone, he builds his own tools, and he gets out of prison and just starts
he's like Batman. He's using his wealth to fight injustice, but
exactly.
But we got to start at ground zero.
Yeah.
A couple of people asked me, why is he called Rattel?
So yeah, Rattel is a French word. So it's the French word for honey badger. Honey badger is the mascot for Bitcoin because the honey badger don't give an F, right?
Right.
Honey badger is an animal in Africa that will attack anything, even lions, anything that's big. It has no fear, and it's very resilient. And that's the best mascot for Bitcoin because Bitcoin it gets attacked by everything. Everyone wants to see Bitcoin.
Right. Yeah. I felt you needed to explain the name because a few people like, you're talking to that guy with that rat comic. I'm like, it's not a rat. So I explained it to a few people, but I wanted to explain
why the French word? Because the story takes place in Montreal. Montreal, is half English, half French as a city. The characters got, I wanted to, stay true to my French origins. I'm from French Canadian.
Plus, it's unique, and Marvel kind of flirted with the character named Honey Badger too. So
a lot of Honey Badger out there.
And I told you last time we talked, I had a character named Honey Badger in my role-playing games for 10 years, and now I can't use this name. And it kind of worked out because I came up with a better name and a more fun personality. So there you go, art through adversary.
Yeah, 100%.
So I think this is kind of neat. It's a different approach. It's kind of hard to come up with a new concept for a superhero. What's a new superhero concept? This is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I've been getting good feedback on the designs. I wasn't trying to be original. Like when I grew up, when I was a teenager, learned creating characters, in my youth, like I was just like, okay, I got to be original. I wasn't thinking about that so much. Now I was like, okay, what do I like? What makes sense? And when I was a young kid, I was like, I figured I want to make a superhero with a skateboard. I think just the movement on a skateboard would be nice, but it never makes sense. Like it's not very threatening. Like you follow criminals on a gravel road, and what can you do with your skateboard? Not a whole lot much, right? You can't go high up on the buildings and things like that. And a few years back, I got into drones. I even did built my own custom drone at one point. So I got, really deep into it.
You know what? It's not that far-fetched.
No, there's a video of a guy who did it.
Right. So this, I think this is, again, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Please do.
Sheldon Martin said, did you say Rattel means honey badger? Yes. It's French. It's French Canadian. I don't know if French.
It's just French for
regular French, but it's French Canadian for honey badger. And honey badger is the spokesmodel creature or whatever for
mascot, if you will,
for Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And this follows my formula of everything flows from the name. You got the name Rattel. Rattel means honey badger. Honey badger is a feisty, mean, vicious, a gumption animal. And then you got the Bitcoin connection. And then your superhero, he's a guy outside the system. He's feisty. He's do it yourself. He don't give an F, like you said. And it's got a Bitcoin connection. This is a perfect name. Perfect name that describes the superhero. Now, I mean, could he withstand venom bites like a honey badger? I don't know. Well, I didn't read the comic yet.
Well, he doesn't have any superpowers.
Right.
So he's very much immortal.
Right. But I think it works. This is very reminiscent of Eric Liefeld. Is that on purpose?
Yes. So Rob Liefeld, right?
What did I
Uh,
say? Did I say the wrong
You
name?
said Eric, but you got
Oh,
the
what is
Liefeld
wrong
part
with me?
right.
My
Yeah,
mouth.
I was thinking that I did these covers like a year ago before I started working on the comic, but I just redid them recently because the designs changed a little bit, and my inking skills kind of evolved as well. So I was like, okay, we just saw the first cover, which is a nice Silver Surfer over the city, and I was like, okay, I need an action-packed like Rob Liefeld cover. So you hit right on the nose with that. That's kind of my inspiration
And you
with
kind
it.
of hid the feet a little bit. You got the lines, the shoulder. He's got pouches. This is Rob Liefeld. There you go.
Yeah. So I have I love the old X-Force comic. Of course people criticize Rob all the time, and deservedly so in some cases, but he was good at making dynamic, interesting things that popped out. So
I've if you watch my show, I have a lot to say about Rob Liefeld, but
yeah, everybody does.
he deserves a lot of criticism, but at the same time, I still like him.
Yeah.
This I like him despite the fact that I don't want to get into Rob Liefeld. Listen,
Yeah, the same with Eli. I don't follow his later work, but I still have my old copy of X Force, and I think it's my most worn out book from when I was a kid. I copied everything in those pages. I was like, how does he make them look so interesting? The small Kirby eyes, Jim Lee kind of did, because him and Jim Lee and all that crowd, they kind of had very attractive style that was just so pleasing to look at.
well, they were unique, they were different, and they stood out.
Mhm.
Uh, Marvel and DC. As much as I'm an '80s Marvels and DC guy, I will admit that they started to get a little samey. And then when you had those early
Yeah.
Image guys, they did shit nobody could argue Todd McFarlane didn't bring in a new burst of energy, but and then when they went over to Image, the problem is, and again I'm strayed away from the topic, which is your comic. The Image kind of turned into the same thing that Marvel was. Now they had a style, and everything kind of looked samey, like it became the Image.
Yeah.
But I don't want to talk about that. I'm not the biggest fan of early Image '90s. What is this character? I don't think I saw him last time you were on.
So you see, Rattel is the one in the small panel. He just got into prison, and if you scroll down, you see he's praying. So this is his first days in prison. He's kind of praying to, for God to take his fear away, which is kind of, if he has a supernatural power, is that his fear has been taken away from him.
Okay,
So
he's
he
literally the man
he
without.
gets into prison, so he's scared shitless. Pardon my French, and he's just like reaching to God, like, okay, help me out here. I'm in a situation I'm not ready for. I'm not a fighter. I'm in a situation that is completely strange, and I have kind of no resources. And an angel comes down and just takes his fear away. And that way
Oh, okay. I thought that was like a supervillain or something,
no,
okay.
it's literally an angel coming down.
This makes me laugh. Poutine on the Ritz.
Yeah, so I want to make sure people know this is in Quebec, Montreal. Poutine's the national meal here, so I
I had
figured.
poutine last Saturday. My wife and I went to the movies, and then we went to in the mall. There's a poutine place, and my wife, who grew up in Canada,
There you
uh,
go.
she said it's real authentic poutine.
Nice.
Yeah,
It's all about the cheese
I used to
curds.
have to travel into Grand Central Station to get her real cheese curds.
Yeah, that's
Now you can get them anywhere in New York, but
cool.
10, 15 years ago, you could only get like mozzarella for poutine, but now we can get authentic cheese curds and stuff. But anyway, it just made me laugh because
And it's part of the world building. So this is a fictional, this is a fictional restaurant I made up for the comic. It's like Los Polos in Breaking Bad. It's like, a lot of comics have their own kind of fictional restaurant chains.
I think in DC Comics they got Belly Burger. I love that. I love putting your little flavor world, like corporations. I'm trying to make up corporations, and now I'm trying to come up with restaurant names, stuff like that to populate my cities. So so I like that. Poutine on the Ritz is pretty clever. And where this is Montreal or
yeah, exactly. So he's gotten out of the prison, and he's just going for his first meal, and he meets one of his first friends here, a truck driver That's he's going to hitch a ride with them, and
Oh
turns
no,
out,
not a truck driver. Those are terrorists over in
Yeah.
Canada. They
well,
might be
that's the thing. I was like, they're the real heroes, right? They're the only ones that kind of stood up to the government during the times of the mandates.
right. And to bring it back to your comment, oh, I just saw a cat walk by.
Yeah, kitty cat coming
They
by.
they cleaned out their bank accounts.
Yeah, so anyone who is supporting, so they act, yeah, that's actually mentioned on the next page in the comic book.
Well, that's this is right in itself. I mean, if that's part that this guy's Bitcoin he can protest, and they can't clean out his bank account.
Yeah, exactly. So there was a Bitcoiner called Caribou who went around to the truck drivers, handing them Bitcoin because people were, supporting the truck drivers using GoFundMe and other equivalents, but none of that money reached the truck drivers. The only money that reached the truck drivers was the Bitcoin that was donated by BTC Sessions along
in
with
real life.
Yes, in real life. This is
oh man,
Caribou has legal troubles now because of that situation.
Oh my God, you mean they have legal troubles for supporting people's? Well, Canada doesn't have First Amendment rights, but we'll say freedom of speech.
Yes.
Forgive me for not knowing. I mean, I should know. I'm married to a Canadian, and Canada's right there. I'm in New York. Is there a guarantee of freedom of speech in Canada? Like, I take it for granted that there is.
No. There's a Charter of Rights that was created by Trudeau's father. So don't know if he's biological.
We'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Officially,
you mean Fidel Castro wrote your Charter of Rights?
The elder Trudeau created a Charter of Rights. I don't even think it's ratified. Like, everything is nebulous. Like, there's treaties between the provinces that are not signed. Everything in Canada is kind of appearances. Like, everything looks on the up and up, but if you dig it, there's no guarantee of anything. Like, people are getting into trouble defending from criminals breaking into their houses.
Yeah.
There's no castle doctrine. It's very sketchy. So
the Toronto chief of police just told people to go along with people breaking into your house. And literally that morning, somebody broke into the house in not Toronto, in some other part of Canada, and sexually assaulted a minor.
Yeah, they're telling people to go along and comply.
Just go along with it. Just go along with it.
Just comply with it. So what do you think the criminals? And the criminals can sue you if you fight back. So, like, they have the advantage. It's almost like we're being betrayed by our leaders.
Not almost.
Well, I know. I'm just I'm Canadian. I got to be careful.
Yeah, you got to apologize when you defend yourself too.
I don't have my First Amendment there, but maybe we'll become a 51st state and we'll get some rights. That would be nice.
I hate to be but I don't want you to become a state. Now we're just going to have more liberals. We're going to have more liberal senators and more liberal congressmen. Except Alberta. Alberta could come. The rest.
We need to stop the propaganda, right? We need to stop the funding the media that's pushing all those lies and making liberals, because people are not born liberals. They're educated and
tell me about it.
Trained into that.
I could go in personal experience about people going away to college and coming back. They were pretty based before they went to college. Now they come back. So let's get back to your comic before I get way into politics.
Yes, sir.
See, this is why I like talking to you, because you're one of the few people I like the economics that we get into. I enjoy that. You confirm my insane conspiracy theory brain. You know what I mean? So you make me feel normal, which is really difficult to do. But anyway, you're the artist over here, right?
Artist and writer. So I do everything except for the colors on this.
Okay, book. So you do the inking also? Are you doing the lettering?
Yes.
Okay, so everything but coloring, literally everything but coloring. Okay, cool. And this is your first comic?
I penciled some comics before under contract work from an independent creator who wanted to turn into a screenplay into a comic book, kind of like The Crow. So I did 3 issues of that back in 2003. I then independently kind of adapted a few chapters of George Orwell's 1984. And then, I just couldn't make ends meet. So I had to stop spending all my time drawing comics and earn some money to get out of the debt I accumulated. So I got into computer programming, more web programming, started doing websites, started working, going back to school for that.
My construction, you think I want to crawl through vents? You know what I mean? I come home with fiberglass insulation in my hair every day. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? That's what I've been doing. I'm almost 60 years old. I'm climbing through vents.
Yeah. So I
Install
did.
electricity. We got to work.
I did that for a few years. Then I discovered Bitcoin. Like yourself, I had an annoying friend that said, "Buy Bitcoin. Come on, buy Bitcoin." I was like, "Yeah, whatever. Come on, man, you got to buy the Bitcoin." He was going to get like $10 back.
Right. That's
kickback.
it. My buddy got $10 worth of Bitcoin.
And I was blessed to do it at the exact perfect time because, you know, there's a time when Bitcoin kind of like goes up on a big slope. And like I said, like Bitcoin goes up 3 years and down 1 year. So I was on like the third year of it going up. I got in when it was $1,000. So my $100 bought me 0.1 Bitcoin, which is now today worth like $11,000.
Yeah,
so
my $5,000. What I pulled out, I put in $5,000, and maybe I should be admitting this on the internet, but I pulled out 44 grand and fixed up my house. So to fix up my house cost me $5,000.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and that wasn't all of it. I still have a little bit left, but it's, you know,
that's good.
And then $100 a week, but now it's not raising like it did 10 years ago.
Well, it's you got to be careful. You got to be patient because you know it goes up, it goes down, and it goes sideways sometimes as well. But when I got in, it just started going up and up and up and up.
Right.
So like the first $100 I put in, like I was seeing like, oh, it's growing, it's growing. So it was the perfect. And I was trying to buy as much as I could back then. And there was a limit on Coinbase. You couldn't buy more than so much per week. They were like putting kind of limits on it because people were buying with credit cards and things like that. So, but it was like kind of the perfect storm to get into it. And
Right.
Then it peaked at the end of the year, and then it crashed 80%.
Oh yeah, about 6 months after I pulled my money out, my friends that were yelling at me for taking, and I was like, dude, I can't live in a Bitcoin. Like, I'm happy that I have this, rather than, you know, potential money in the, and boom, everything crashed.
Yeah.
And we didn't know, like I thought that was the end of it. And they were like, you did the right thing. Holy moly. You know, it recovered and then some.
Well, that's the thing, is it after a crash, that's what I'm telling you. Like it's a 4-year
buy
cycle.
on the dip. Buy on the dip.
After the third year, the 4 year it crashes. It used to have like 80% crashes. I don't think we're going to see those anymore because now it's so mainstream now with like you got huge companies that are adopting it. Countries are now using it as a strategic reserve. You know, you have countries in Asia that are just like the government is mining just to, you know, to pay its employees using the Bitcoin. So it's changed. The game is always evolved. Like since day one, it's always changed and evolved, and it's going to continue to change and evolve.
I want to ask you about this. I mean, how could I not want to talk about a big-breasted woman shooting butterflies?
Yeah. So this is so as much as superhero like is backed with Bitcoin, the rest very much feels like a superhero book, right? Like it's not. You're not just in the realm of Bitcoin. It's not a story about Bitcoin. She's happens to be the remnant of a super secret Russian spy program, of course, as you will. And she was kind of bought off by the evildoer in the book, which I call Bankman. Very simply, I thought that was a nice, simple word for a villain, name for a villain. So Bankman has kind of acquired her through a dark market as a remnant of a psychic spy program from the now disappeared Russia, Soviet state. And but she escapes from his grasp, and she's trying to escape in the first issue of the comic. And you can't just send any henchman after a psychic spy because she could just like her butterflies are just like a symbol for her power. Like the butterflies land on your shoulder and your brain goes gaga. You can't think straight. So no one can really like run after her. She'll just like throw some dust in your face.
What's her
Razum?
And what does that mean? I assume
that's a Russian Russian name. So you'll have to. I'm going to keep that one under wraps for now.
Okay. All right.
But so he sends his henchmen from China called the Tiger Twins because they're Shaolin monks who are have an iron will because of their training. They can't get easily dissuaded by psychic powers. So if you scroll down, you'll see the Tiger Twins.
Okay.
They're
Well,
the,
I just want to say this is pretty appropriate because I'm way into Greek mythology, and if you know Greek mythology, Psyche, the goddess of the soul, married to Cupid or Eros, her symbol is a butterfly.
yeah.
So there you go. She has psychic, which is why Psylocke has the butterfly. Pretty appropriate. Oh, there you go. There's the Tiger Twins.
Correct. Yeah. So
I was thinking for your banker villain, here's a free name. Use it or don't. Miser.
Miser. That's a good one. That's a good one. I like that. I might use that.
There you go.
Yeah. So the villain Beckman, you never see his face, right? It's like the
right,
super villain. Yeah, exactly. Well, it's like the super villain kind of in Inspector Gadget. So I always show his hand holding a cigar. So you'll see his hand all the time. You'll see him in his office, but his face will be in the shadows, and you'll never see it. I kind of like that idea. Like you see him, but you don't really see him. And speaking of Greek mythology, there's a third villain. If you scroll down again,
sure,
that you only see her as a cameo in the first book. Like she doesn't whip out her powers like you see here. She's a voodoo priestess who's kind of mimicking a Gorgon. So she's not really a Medusa.
I'm so happy you said it right. Medusa's a Gorgon, and you said so many people don't say that. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's just one of my personal victories is Gorgon is so misused.
yeah. But she's not a Gorgon. She's just using voodoo powers to kind of simulate that. She was a young child in Haiti who was kind of like captured and brought into the human trafficking network, but she was saved by having dark powers because her grandmother taught her the voodoo arts. And when her captors saw the powers that she had, they decided to sell her. And she had more value, if you will. And she was bought into Bankman's circle of henchmen, of superpowered villains. So she kind of works for Bankman. If you go into Bankman's office, you have a lot of statues of people who are in terror. And they are all people who have crossed him, and the Black Medusa turned him into, marble statues in his office. So it looks like a museum, but it's a museum of horrors.
Oh, there you go. Cool. And I remember that you told me what Razub meant last time you were. I finally saw, but I'll be quiet. Now I remember it. I remember we talked. I mean, about that.
You can look in Google Translate. It's Russian for. It has
how you doing, Wrangler?
Hey, Wrangler, how you doing, man?
Good to see. Good to see people. Check it out. So let's see. Is there anything else if we scroll? Oh, okay. That's the bottom. Yeah. So this is the Fund My Comic page.
Correct.
So you're on the Bitcoin page. Oh, great. 625. That's reasonable for a digital copy. How many pages is this comic?
So the comic book is 24 pages. I'm going to add some extra content as well. I got fan art. I've got character bios in there. And I may add some extra stuff depending on how the campaign goes as well. But the main storyline is 24 pages. I wanted to have something that was close to the original size of comics. That was also manageable as a first comic.
Right.
I've created projects in the past that would like, when you're young, you want everything to be epic. You fall in love with Akira and you want to make the next Akira. And so I know what it's like to bite off more than I can chew. So I wanted this project to be manageable, and everything's done now. All the art is complete. Half of it is colored and the other half is in the colorist's hands as we speak. So my creative part on this book is done, except maybe editing work on the text. So
yeah, then you got pre-press. Are you doing all that yourself too?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to hire.
You never done it until you put it in the Gemini mailer and dropping it in the mail.
Yeah. Right. That's when, the circle is complete when people receive it and they give you their feedback. I think that's when the circle.
And even then you're writing the next issue. So you're never done.
Yeah, dude, I'm looking forward to getting back to writing because writing is so much potential, right? It's everything is possible at that moment. And
I write the script and I set up a folder and I assign an artist to it. And then I'm like, okay, here's the script, it's all ready to go. And then like within 20 minutes, I'm like, I want to see all the pages. Like, I'm so excited, because I can't draw. I'm like a little kid. I'm working with about 8 different artists right now. Usually like every 2 days I get a page and I'm like, it's like a fix, come on. I can't wait to show everybody. We're talking about your book right now. So
yeah.
How long do you think you'll be shipping this out?
Yeah, I chose March as the date because I figured, okay, I'm going to be crowdfunding until the early December, so went for 3 months. It might have been too big. Like I see people do 1 month and then extend another month.
I
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm an amateur. I did one campaign. I'm in the middle of another campaign. You
Yeah.
do seem to get front loaded in my experience.
Yeah.
And like the first 2 weeks kind of defines everything, but
Yeah.
I leave it available. So like right now, I'm on Find My Comic also, Heroic Tales #2 for fans of Frederic who don't know who I am. Hi, I also have a comic, Heroic Tales. Issue 1 shipped. Issue 2 is nearly complete. We're putting together the files now to print. But anyway, I'm going to leave it available until issue 3 campaign goes live, and then I shut it down.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why not? Why make things difficult for people to buy your comic book? Leave it open as long as possible.
I chose March for the simple reason that I figured, okay, I'm going to do my crowdfunding before Christmas, and then Christmas, I'm going to take Christmas off. I'm going to take a breather. I might be writing during that period. I might be writing issue 2, and then I figured, okay, January, February is when I'm going to get started, everything planned with the printer. It's also going to give, like, while I'm doing the crowdfunding for 3 months, it also gives time for my colorist to get everything in as well.
Yeah.
So, and then I figure, okay, I'm going to get the pre-press stuff really done in January, February after the printer, and then that's when it's going to happen. So I gave myself March to just have as much leeway as possible, and hopefully it will be before that. If I could get it out before that, that's going to be a victory. I'm going to try to do that, but I figured if it takes a lot of time, it's going to go to March, and
that's fine. Yeah, just keep people updated. Problems happen, you know.
That's the realistic kind of deadline. And
my first comic was 3 weeks late, which I consider to be pretty reasonable.
That's
my
good,
second comic, I looks like I'm going to be 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks late. I don't want to throw the blame game, but one of the members of the team had family emergencies and was away from everything for 3 months.
Yeah.
So
I mean, comics are hard, man. It takes time. It's a labor of love. I mean, you want to stick to a schedule, but for the first book, I did not give myself a schedule. I'm like, okay, I'm going to draw at my own rate. I want to make sure everything looks good because this is the first book. Second book, I've got everything's done. The website's done. The design's done. All the character designs. The story is already outlined. There's a lot of stuff that you have to do the first time around that you don't need to redo for the second time.
Right. You're not going to have to do logos again. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Exactly. So everything was done. And I was also like, in the first year, I went and did a lot of conferences to just tell people about the project, keep people informed about it. So, you take off a week here, a week there. That takes off the production schedule as well. I was taking commissions, and so a lot of things were kind of like slowing down the project. When I'm going to be doing the second one, I'm probably going to start crowdfunding before I'm done. I'm going to change things up a little bit, and I'm going to get right into it and hit the ground running, so to speak.
Oh, so what, you were mostly done before you launched this campaign?
I was completely done with the inking when I launched the campaign. I wanted to make sure all the artistic stuff was behind me because I didn't want the.
Yeah, you want to minimize the risk. You want to minimize the surprises.
Yeah, and also like
you want to minimize the cats running around.
Exactly. So there's so much unknown with the campaign that I wanted all my attention to be focused on that and not split between the two.
I hear you. What do they say from The Incredibles? Luck favors the prepared.
Yeah.
Like I this is embarrassing to admit, but I kind of admit all sorts of embarrassing things about myself. I didn't know that pre-press was a step when I was in the middle of my campaign and somebody asked me who was doing pre-press. And I was like, what's pre-press? And then we had to talk afterwards and I had to find a person to do I thought, I got 40 pages of finished art. You just send that to the printer. No, so Pete Sametti explained to me that pre-press was
Yeah.
Now I got a guy, now things are running smooth,
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, I'm going to have to look into that as well. I'm going to get help with that because I've never done it. I want to make sure everything's done right, of course. Minimize the minimize the learning.
Right. Yeah. I'm not a computer guy at all. I can't draw. All I can do is write and have bright eyes. You know what I mean? That's about it.
I mean, I was like, I was disappointed that I had to take a detour from my, comic book career, because I was always wanted to be a comic book artist. And the fact that I had to go into, web design and all that, at first it was a big disappointment. It was a weight on my shoulders. But now looking back, I realize I learned so much that I can use in, first of all, in writing, but also like if I learned vector graphics, which allows me to do the lettering nowadays. I learned web programming, which allows me to do my own website the way I
Oh, there you
want. I learned about Bitcoin, which gives me, something to talk about in the story. There's a whole life experience that I could not have planned that kind of like led up to this project taking shape today the way it did.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Everything, every little bit helps, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you pull from your life experiences. I mean, if I could not have done this like in my 20 years of age. Like, I didn't even want to be a writer. I didn't even want to be an inker. I just wanted to be a penciler, part of the machine, and let's just get working for Marvel Comics and like start churning out comics. But like looking back, I've got a life experience. I've got things that I've learned so much that now I want to tell stories. Now I have things to say. I have a voice, which is, I think, much more interesting. I
You got
can
life
draw.
which I think a lot of the new hires over at Marvel Comics could benefit from.
Right.
Well, speaking of life experience, I have to leave in a couple of minutes for work.
No problem.
Yeah. So, I usually talk too much, but you've been talking. Anything you want to say before we close down for the day?
I mean, I just want to thank you for having me on, man, and talking about it. Like, it's very rare that people are actually interested in the Bitcoin aspect. A few people are. A few people ask a couple of questions, but it's hard to get into those subjects, as you know. Like the fact that you are aware of this Federal Reserve issue as well. It kind of feels like here is the middle of the Venn diagram for my project. The Bitcoin and the comic book love. We kind of understand both and love both. So I really appreciate you kind of giving me that space to talk about both topics, because Bitcoiners are not always comic book geeks, and comic book geeks.
You're making two Venn diagrams with a small overlap.
Yeah.
But and I didn't. I mean, I thought it was a cool idea, but now I can't help it, and I don't want to steal your ideas, but I just can't help but think like that whole. Bitcoin with the truck drivers and the Canadian government still. I mean, I assume Rattel is in Canada. This is
yes, this takes place in Montreal. Yeah.
So this story is writing itself. I mean, I always try to play a game called Beat the Writer. I'm trying to figure out your story already, just based on these talks that we have and my knowledge of current events. But I do think that this is a timely story. And it could be an important story. And people kind of bust my chops because I get idealistic about stuff. But I do think comic books are important. I do think comic books are like a zeitgeist of like Western culture. Japanese anime, I'm sure, is a zeitgeist of Japan. But I'm talking my experience. And I do think you could look at comics and get like an over. So you talking about Bitcoin? I know we're a small group, but I do think that this is something that's, I don't know, I'm talking kind of idealistic and a little kind of goofy right now, but I'm trying to streamline my thoughts. The whole Bitcoin involved with the truckers got their life savings taken out because they wouldn't stop. These people believed in something, and I believe that they had the moral right on their side, and I believe that the Canadian government did an evil thing. They threatened them with arrest. They threatened them with being fired. They threatened them with the one thing that really, and I think Canada is the test ground. It's going to happen in the States next, is we're going to clean out your life savings. Mm-hmm. Now, look at the average cop. The average cop in England, I'm going to give the average cop the benefit of the doubt that they don't want to arrest little grandma because she called somebody a poo-poo head. Mm-hmm. But these people are probably like, if you don't go and do what you're told, your pension's gone. You know what I mean? And I'm 57 years old. I'm counting on my pension. Could you imagine if like they told me you got to go and cut the power lines to this guy because I'm an electrician to these people's house, or we're going to take your pension? I'd like to say that I'm going to do the morally right thing, but until you're really presented with that in your face, you don't know what you're going to. And I think that this comic could be touching on that You know, look at you smiling like it's got nothing to do with that. He's just beating up the lizard.
No, you're right on the money.
You know what I mean?
You're quite the contrary, John. You're absolutely right on the money. And the trucker character is a very important secondary character. And a lot of people that have been telling the story and showing the pages to, they're like, oh, he's my favorite. Like, yeah, because he's the non-costumed hero in the book.
Right. He's the regular man.
Yeah, he's got his whole parallel story, but he's not into putting on a costume and flying around. He's just driving the truck, but he wants to like load his truck full of Bitcoin miners and start mining Bitcoin. And he's getting into it, but in a non-superhero way. And people are just loving him. People are just.
I think it's a good idea. The reason why I was looking weird, I just backed while we talked. So you got 2 backers.
Thank you so much, John. Appreciate that, man.
I'm not even a big guy, you know. So there you go.
Thank you very much, man. Appreciate it.
But I got to get going. I got. Speaking of my pension, I got to get to work. I hate this shift. It's so isolating, you know. I wake up, my wife is already gone. I come home, she stays awake. We have dinner, and then she goes to bed. You know, I feel like, you know, that guy on TV. He's like, I'm all fed up and I can't take it anymore because it's just me and my partner, and I'm crawling through vents all night long.
Yeah,
like McClane, John McClane. All right, and I'm babbling. You didn't know who was on? Yeah, like I said, I'm trying out 2 new times. Like sometimes I'll stream at midnight, and sometimes I'll stream at 1 in the afternoon. Those are really my only 2 realistic choices right now if I want people to watch. I'm probably going to be on the schedule till December. That's when the job is supposed to run through. Who knows? Things could change at any minute. And the cool guy is Rattel. He's French for honey badger. He's the Bitcoin-based superhero by Frederic over here.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I don't want to bring up the screen because it's processing my pledge, and nobody needs to know my credit card information. But check it out on Fund My Comic. And what's the other website? I'm going to bring that one up.
Geyser.fund, like GEYSER.FUND. So we're a featured project right now. So if you scroll down the page, we're like right on the top. There you go. And so you can also search for Rattel, but we're pretty much featured on there. So you can pay with credit card and I get the Bitcoin, or you could just go and fund my comic if you're more comfortable with that. If that works as well, that's another option.
Cool. So thanks a lot. I'm sorry to rush everybody off, but I got an hour and a half drive to work right now in traffic. All right.
Thanks so much, John.
Everybody. And it's good talking to you. Good luck with your comic.
Likewise. Thank you, sir.
I'm glad we talked because now I'm even more. Now I think that this is a timely, important topic and it's a really good idea for a superhero. I love superheroes, and you have a unique spin on it that I think is going to become more important as we go forward with unfortunately the way this world is going. And I was just about to start talking about current events, which I don't really want to talk about. I'm in a good mood. All right, so we'll end now. Thanks a lot, Frederic.
Thanks, John.
Welcome anytime you
soon, man.
back. And if you want to invite me on your channel, please, I'll go on anybody's channel and promote my comic. So thanks a lot, everybody.
That's good, man. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye. How do I end this? All right. Bye, kids.
Goodbye, kids.